My 365 Podcasts with me, Pete Cohen. Hi, it's Pete Cohen and welcome to My 365 Podcast. Today's podcast is all about mastery and helping you maximize the potential that you have. But before we get stuck into the show today, I want to let you know that this broadcast is brought to you by My 365 Elite. Go and check out what the greatest coaching opportunity in the world can do for you. And you can take a 7-day trial just for £1 and see how I can help you, how you can have access to live coaching, have access to the greatest masterclasses I've ever put together, which I'll talk a little bit on this broadcast today, and also have access to a community of like-minded people. So head over to mi365.me/elite and go and see exactly what coaching can do for you. So welcome to the show. Today we're talking about mastery, and those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you can see that I'm wearing a Michael Jordan top. I'm actually wearing a Michael Jordan t-shirt. Michael Jordan is definitely one of my heroes. I've never met him. I saw him play in 1993, and it imprinted something inside my head because you could quite clearly see that he was better than everybody else. And there is this real incredible belief that exists in society today around geniuses. People think that geniuses, I think, are born. Like he was just born this great basketball player. He was born dribbling, not dribbling through his mouth, but dribbling with a basketball. No, that wasn't the case. He clearly had ability, but it was through mastery. And I'm here today to call you out, to really help you understand and see things differently, because human beings very rarely change when you tell them what to do. And we seem to live in a world that frowns upon mastery. We really do. What we're interested in is quick fix. It's what I would call society candy of what we should all be consuming. We should all be looking at Instagram. And by the way, I do actually like Instagram and I use it, but I use it for a way where I'm fulfilling my own purpose and mastery. I want to get better at putting great content out there rather than putting pictures of me out there showing off my abs. Not that I've got great abs, and even if I wanted great abs, there would be a tax for that. There's something that we have to work for. We all want a great life given to us, but if we're given a great life, I believe that there'll always be something missing inside of us, the part of us that wants to get better. And I spoke about this on a previous podcast not long ago about a gentleman that won a Nobel Prize in 1937. He actually won it twice. He talks about this concept called syntropy, which is about every living cell wants to express itself to its highest capacity. I genuinely believe that, but it doesn't necessarily happen by just like that. We have to facilitate that process by dedicating ourselves to something, dedicating ourselves to get better at something. And I think, I don't know, when you were a child, if your parents try to push you into doing something that you really didn't want to do, or maybe you wanted to do it, and maybe when it got hard, or maybe when you failed, you gave up. And yet, when you see, and this is what I've done for so much of my life, is study success, and you look behind. If someone's good at something, I want to get behind it and see exactly what they've done. And this probably won't surprise you, but there's always seems to be those two words, hard work, coupled with a lot of dedication. So if you look at whoever you think of that's successful, and society, I suppose, has kind of changed this a little bit, because some people have become successful, whatever that means, overnight. Through television and some of these television programs that can take someone who really doesn't necessarily have any talent, but I believe everyone does, it just might not be seen, and make them famous. Whereas when you look behind the scenes, you will see what that person has actually done. Malcolm Gladwell, in his book Mastery, talks about this whole thing of 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours of doing something every single day, in most cases, to become world class at it, or to the point where you can do it so well that you just revel in your investment. And I challenge you, and we talk about when people start working on mastering things, some people think that's a bit selfish. I personally think the most selfish thing that human beings can do is to consume more than they construct, consume more than they create. And, you think about what you could create. Well, you could pretty much create anything, but you can create better health. You can create better mindfulness. You can create better energy inside you and give that to the world. But that takes dedication, and that takes moving away from what everyone else is doing. And I really admire anyone that goes, you know what, this kind of isn't working for me, and there's something inside me where I want more than what I have today. And I don't necessarily mean more money. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with more money and more material wealth, but more greatness inside you, more the sense of fulfillment. Martin Seligman calls it flourishing. He's one of the forefathers of positive psychology, and he talked about happiness for man's search for happiness. And in his work, because as he's got better, he's realized that it's not just about happiness, it's what he calls flourishing. And another great book that he wrote called Flourishing, which I highly recommend. And he talks about this thing called PERMA, that positive emotion, PERMA, that to have a great life, a life of flourishing, a life of abundance, you need PERMA in your life. You need positive emotion. Maybe you're feeling some form of positive emotion from what I'm saying to you here right now, and saying, you know what, I'm going to create positive emotion in my life. And then E, engagement, engaging into what you do, blocking off distractions. This is being disciplined. And when we work with people, especially with My 365 Elite, there's this apprentice phase. It's like the first 365, if you like, is becoming apprentice to disciplining yourself to be consistent, to develop intensity around what you're doing so you can get better. Just going back to the example of syntropy, to allow yourself to create yourself better and better and better every single day, to give yourself to something that gives you something back, that gives you engagement. And then R in PERMA is relationships, to develop a great relationship, not just with the people around you, but the most important relationship ever, which is the relationship that you have with yourself. And one way to improve that relationship is to do things that you love to do, that are often more than you, giving your greatest gifts and talents and service to the world. And then M is meaning, finding meaning in what you're doing. And I think that's why so many people are drifting and unhappy, because there's no real meaning to them. It's all kind of superficial. And then the A is achievement. Achieving things, just that sense of, look what I've done, look what I can create. And that's what I believe that we should be looking to master PERMA in our lives. So think about it. Positive emotion. Let's just take meditation, for example, which is one of our master classes that you can get access to for just £1. You can literally go in and just look at that masterclass over 7 days. But then you could work with us for 365 days, becoming an apprentice of being the very, very best version of yourself, and not just learn, but apply. This is where coaching really comes to the fore, I believe, in the application. You can read and you can listen, but to really learn and grow, which is what we're all here to do, to master growing, to master getting better at things, of course, it takes dedication, and of course, it takes the application. The application of knowledge and wisdom. That's what I believe true mastery is about. And I was with a colleague of mine yesterday, and we were talking about this, and he was asking me about what I do. And I said, look, I do what I do because I believe in human beings. I believe that people have gifts and talents, and mentors and coaches made a huge difference to my life. So Kobe Bryant, who just scored 30,000 points in basketball, who was he coached and mentored by? I just did an Instagram post on this. His mentors were Michael Jordan, and also another mentor of him was Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson, the legendary coach of the LA Lakers and the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan's mentors was Phil Jackson. He probably had a number of mentors. It's called paying it forwards. It's about learning from other people, and hopefully you can learn from me and you can get better and you can pass it forwards. Because my goal is to inspire you. My goal is to inspire 100 million people around the world to wake up and align themselves to doing things which make them feel and come alive. And often that's about giving greatest service to the world. by us being the best version of us. So have you got a book in you? Is there a song that you want to sing? Are there places that you want to go in the world? Is there a person that you want to become? Which is often you. It's just learning to get rid of the excuses. Have you got inflammation of the excuse-making gland that stops you from taking constant, daily action? So look, my challenge to you right now from listening to this is to think, what can I do now in the next 5 minutes? Or as we love to say with My365, in the next half an hour, ask yourself, am I closer to where I want to be than where I was 30 minutes ago? And by the way, this is one of the main reasons that coaching could really help you, because maybe you don't actually know what it is that you want. All you know is you're not happy where you are. I can't even begin to tell you the difference that coaching and mentoring has made to my life. It has radically changed it, and I am who I am because of that. And that's why I do what I do. So look, think about mastery, think about getting better at things, think about PERMA, and let's work together. You know, we've been doing these podcasts now for maybe nearly 2 years, and we're still in the top 10 on iTunes for news and noteworthy, and we appreciate that. That's because of you. So if you've enjoyed this, if you're listening on iTunes, please make a comment. It really helps. We love to read what people are taking away from what we're sharing with people. And if you're listening to this on our website or YouTube, again, feel free to make a comment, share it, and let's take you and your life to a whole new level. Go and check out my365.me/elite and see just what £1 of an investment just for 7 days, see what that can do for your life. And maybe we could work together for 365ing. Maybe I could have the privilege of being your mentor or coach to help you move through that apprentice phase so that you can then really become incredibly amazing as we cement the foundations of the core areas that I believe everyone needs to develop. And that's willpower, mindfulness, wellness, personal leadership, breaking habits, confidence, and many more. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. We'll see you soon for another My365 podcast. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And if you want more free inspiration to optimize your life so you can achieve your goals in all the different areas of your life, then visit my365.me. That's mi365.me and sign up to 365 days of free coaching with me, Pete Cohen. Thanks for listening and have an awesome day.